Hello, everyone. So, I just got off the phone with a friend of mine out in California, and I just had the perspective change that I've been looking for. I've been, searching everywhere in my mind, and I knew that the perspective was there, but I could not find it. It was hiding underneath the rug the whole time. So, what happened is, I've got some unresolved feelings about my experience with Psycho-Chickie, which, for those of you who aren't familiar, that is that term. That term started off as insulting, but then after we got back together a couple of times after that, it became an affectionate kind of thing. I'd call her Psycho-Chickie, and she'd call me her psycho boyfriend, and so we were psychos for each other. And so basically, what's going on is I'm writing a book about this experience, but I'm changing a few things to make it a work of fiction. But I'm not changing really anything that is important. I'm changing, like times and dates and stuff like that. I'm not using her name. I'm not going to try to expose her like that. But so what happened here is something I want to get out. I know she watches my videos, so I'm kind of putting this out there to maybe calm some of her nerves. And for those of you who are keeping up with this soap opera, So I'm talking with a friend of mine out in California, and we were talking about some of the mushroom experiences that Psycho-Chickie and I went through. And basically what we were trying to figure out what was going on is you take two positive magnets and you try to hold them together, they're gonna pop apart. But then if you take an opposite magnet and stick them together, they're gonna latch to each other. Which should have been what happened, because Psycho-Chickie is a lot like me, except for almost completely opposite in a lot of ways. But we both had a lot of the same interests. We had a lot of the same experiences, a lot of the same wants and things like that. And she wanted me to root, and I like to travel. I like my freedom. I like to be able to go out and do things. So she has a support group there, and I call them her crew. Even though I don't believe, let me rephrase that word there. I have a hard time believing that her crew is really working in her best interest. She has one person in her crew that straight up told her, nobody could want you for you. Why would anybody want you for you? He has to be after something. Well, okay, so first off, kind of fucking friend tells somebody that, nobody could want you for you. Like, there's really nothing else that she has that I want. But that's neither here nor there. She has somebody else in her crew that is, I know that his intentions are good. I know that they are, because he just has, once he's made aware of an issue, he tries to resolve that issue in the best way that he knows how. And the way that he tries to resolve that issue is the same way that a lot of men use to resolve issues with a lot of women. Like you see it. I saw it last night at the bar. I wasn't buying the drinks, but somebody was buying the drinks, and I was drinking the drinks because I can. I'm old enough. So, and what they use is motherfucking cars, They use the fear motive. You're gonna die if you do this. You're gonna die if you do that. You want to die? Die. All this fear factor to get somebody to come around to their way of thinking. They're fucking cars. No cars ever go down this road unless I'm filming, I promise you. So they use this fear factor, this fear mindset, this fear stimulation, fear motive, whatever, to get people to come around to what they're trying to promote. And whereas I have a friend in England, Richard Williams, some of you are familiar because I brought him up in May in my videos and talked about him. But he gave me a little piece of advice, and that was, we were talking about the power of words. And with the power of words, he says, why do you think they call it spelling? Well, think about that. Just you could say one thing, but you say it two different ways, it has really different meanings. The very power of the words, I need this, I want that. People be a little bit more careful with their I want, I will, I wish, I need crap. So I before I met Psycho-Chickie, I started changing my wording and the way that I talk to people, because I'm not trying to use my words in a way that, you know, could manipulate somebody into thinking other than the way that they want to think. I like to give them perspective changes, you know, because every time you have an interaction with somebody, you have a perspective change. Just by watching this video, you've already had a perspective change. Whether it's my way or this, it doesn't matter. You still had a perspective change. So, I was very careful with my wording. When I met Psycho-Chickie, I was in a very fragile state of mind. I was kind of lost spiritually, and I have to admit, this woman came into my life, and she did guide me out of it. She gave me something solid to hold on to when there was nothing for me to hold on to, and it was appreciated. And then, so, I mean, this of course had something this had some, you know, deep meaning to me, for me, and so then, when I was capable a little bit of, you know, standing there and being support for her while she was dealing with some of her issues, it was, okay, the way that my friend kind of explained this, what possibly could have happened, is that, you know, she's capable of being there for somebody else, but when it comes time to actually fixing herself, she is not able. Now, she uses the I want to say excuse of, well, I've, you know, been in therapy for years and years and years, but therapy, I mean, let's face it, let's talk about this. So, therapy is basically you're paying somebody to listen to your side of the story and what you want them to understand, to make you feel like you're right and everybody else is wrong in most ways. When Psycho-Chickie accused me of being a narcissist, well, this like floored me. I didn't think that I was a narcissist, so I called my wife up and I was like, "Am I a narcissist?" And she said, that at one time she thought that I might have been, but no, there is no way. And I started looking up and doing some research on this, and I even read the book that Katie gave me, and it's called Trapped in the Mirror, and adult children of narcissistic parents. And basically what I saw was that Psycho-Chickie was living out pretty much everything in this book, sometimes almost word for word. She was experiencing these experiences, whereas, like, you know, my wife has pointed out, and a lot of people pointed out to me when I started really freaking out on that, is that I'm like the opposite of a narcissist. But So what she has going on is that she's seeing the issues that she has, but she's not prepared to deal with them, and she's pushing that blame off onto other people, the scapegoat thing. And so the way that my friend explained this is I opened doors for her that she wasn't able to access. Okay, Psycho-Chickie herself is very complicated. Psycho-Chickie admitted that I opened doors for her. But that didn't really mean a lot because there was a lot of other interactions with her that particular statement just didn't mean much coming from her at that time in the way that it was phrased, because too much information from source A, and it's not until you get the information, the very same information from source C, that it's like, light goes on. Alright, so my friend explains that if she was in Russia, and I'm an American, I open the closet and I'm like, hey, look at all this, it's not really doing her any good because she's in Russia. And so I guess what I'm hoping here is that, alright, so she has to do this alone, and I wasn't trying to fix her as much as I wanted to be there for her, stand by her side and everything. That's what I'm used to doing. That's what I'm used to doing. Like my wife, she needed help, I stood beside her even when it got tough. That's what I do. And I was willing and ready to, walk with her while she faced down her demons, but she's so used to having the support of the crew and there's a dog without a leash. She's so used to having the support of the crew that doesn't really have her best interests at heart, that when it came to me, I was the new guy on the block. What you doing, puppers? I was the new guy on the block, and she, how you doing, buddy? Hey. And so she had no reason to trust that I would actually be there for her, versus, people that are telling her that nobody can give a fuck about her except for if they want something from her. So, what I'm doing now is she's off doing whatever it is that she does, and I'm hoping that she's still working on herself. And so I don't know. My wife and I sat on a couch one time, and we just really got into thinking. We're like, so if, who in the world, past, present, or future, would you forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever forsake? And neither of us could think of anybody that we would forsake. I mean, how would you do it? What would be something that we would disown our children for and never talk to them again? What is something that we would, condemn? We couldn't think of anybody or anything that we would fully forsake. It's just not something that I'm capable of doing. And so, while she's off doing her thing, if she needs somebody to talk to or whatever, my hand is open. I'm there for her. It's just, I don't know how much of this makes sense to anybody outside of, people that are familiar with the actual story, but, yeah, so, Psycho-Chickie, whatever you're doing, the book's coming out, but it's not coming out to harm you, so, because that was a issue that came up. She thought, yeah, it's not. It's my little therapy, my little way of dealing with what happened and trying to get myself back together, because I really got wrapped up in this girl. I really did. She meant a lot to me. And for those of you that read the book, you'll understand why. And for everybody else, have a great day. Peace, everybody.